What if everything you've been told about what he needs before union is missing the terrifying, beautiful point? What if the divine masculine's deepest yearning isn't for your patient understanding, your unwavering support, or even your radiant light shining for him, but for something so raw, so counterintuitive, it feels almost like a betrayal of every romantic script we've ever been handed? Yeah, let that land for a second. We swim in oceans of advice about twin flames. Surrender, heal your wounds, release expectations, find your wholeness. Vital truths, absolutely. But when we zoom in on the divine masculine energy, that often enigmatic force navigating its own labyrinth of conditioning and awakening, the narrative gets fuzzy, predictable. We talk at him, step up, heal your father wounds, be present, as if he's a spiritual project needing the right checklist. But what if his soul, in the quiet pre-dawn hours before true merging, is whispering a plea so profound, so vulnerable, it gets drowned out by the noise of our well-meaning expectations? What if his secret cravings aren't about becoming more of anything you recognize, but about the sacred, terrifying permission to become less, to utterly unravel? Yet here's the luminous, rarely spoken secret, echoing in the chambers of his awakening spirit. Before the divine masculine can authentically stand beside you in union, the inauthentic version of strength he's been clinging to must be allowed to die. Not healed around, not patched up, but willingly, courageously dissolved. It's not about constructing a better version of the old self. It's about the sacred demolition of the false self entirely. His deepest, most hidden craving isn't for your guidance through this, or even your comprehension in the moment. Though grace is always welcome, it's for a container held by your sovereign, unwavering presence or the vast embrace of the universe itself, where this dissolution isn't just tolerated as messy phase, but recognized as holy ground. Where falling apart isn't a failure, but the bravest act of soul-level obedience he can offer. Where the tears that shame him, the confusion that humiliates him, the lostness that terrifies him are met not with panic or fixing, but with a profound, silent affirmation. Yes, this too. This is the way. Imagine him not as a builder, but as a majestic, ancient glacier. We see the imposing, frozen face, solid, immovable, radiating a cold strength. But deep within, the warming currents of transformation are stirring. The craving isn't to build higher ice walls. It's for the sacred permission to melt, to allow the frozen rigidity to surrender to the flow. It's terrifying. The glacier is its structure. Melting feels like annihilation, but only through that dissolution can the water be released. The same essential substance, now fluid, adaptable, capable of nourishing life, carving new landscapes, reaching the ocean to merge with the vast whole. His soul craves that thaw, that permission to stop resisting the inner current, pulling him towards his own essential, fluid truth. He needs to know in the marrow of his being that the terrifying liquefaction of everything he thought defined him is not the end, but the only possible beginning of what comes next. The fortress must fall so the garden can grow. And the most breathtaking part, when he finally emerges from that sacred dissolution, blinking in the raw light of his own authenticity, the reunion you experience won't just be a coming together, it will be a revelation. A meeting not of two halves seeking completion, but of two whole, radically transformed beings who dared the depths of their own becoming. But understanding how to recognize that emergence, how to navigate the reunion after such profound unraveling, well, that requires seeing the path not as a linear journey to an end, but as a breathtaking, ever-unfolding dance of becoming, ready to step onto that new terrain. Let's talk about light. Not the polite, diffused kind from a lampshade, but the raw, unapologetic, sun-exploding into supernova kind. That's the light we're dancing with here. You see, the divine masculine, that often misunderstood energy, wrestling with centuries of be strong, provide, fix it programming, harbors a secret so potent, so counterintuitive, it feels almost heretical to whisper it aloud. Forget the tired tropes of him needing you dimmed down, manageable, safely tucked within the glow he provides. No, beautiful soul. His soul, in the quiet chambers before true union, whispers something else entirely. It craves to be utterly, magnificently outshone by your radiance. Think about that for a second. Doesn't it rattle the cage of every romantic, comedy, and damsel in distress trope we've ever swallowed? We're conditioned, aren't we? Conditioned to believe the masculine needs to be the sun, the center, the undeniable source. We cheer for the heroine who finds her light beside him, rarely because her light forces his own shadows into stark, uncomfortable relief. But this is different. This is primal. Imagine him not as the sun, but as the lighthouse keeper. His role isn't to be the blinding beam cutting through the storm, though he can certainly hold that energy when needed. His deeper, soul-remembered purpose? To tend the lighthouse, to ensure the lamp is clean, the mirrors polished, the mechanism flawless. His fulfillment comes not from being the light, but from guaranteeing the light shines its farthest, pierces the thickest fog, guides the most lost ships home. Your light, your authenticity, your purpose blazing like a beacon, your joy radiating like pure frequency. That is the lamp he is wired to protect, reflect, and amplify. When you dim yourself out of fear of intimidating him, out of a misplaced desire to make him feel bigger, out of sheer exhaustion from pretending to be less, you're not helping him. You're inadvertently disabling the very lighthouse he signed up to serve. You're asking him to polish a lens covered in mud. How frustrating must that be for a keeper? It's terrifying, isn't it? Letting that light roar. What if it scares him away? Your fear hisses. What if he can't handle it? What if he feels less than? There's the rub. Because the unevolved masculine ego, tangled in its own insecurities and societal wiring, will likely balk. It might retreat, criticize, or try to subtly, or not so subtly, dim your wattage. That's the old programming kicking in, the crab trying to pull you back into the bucket. But the divine masculine energy awakening within him, the part yearning for true union, that part watches your unapologetic blaze not with envy, but with a profound, almost reverent relief. It's the cosmic, oh, there you are, moment. Why relief? Because it's the ultimate signal. Your radiance, untamed and untethered to his approval, is the clearest signpost he gets that you are embodying your divine feminine essence. Fully, wholly, not a reflection of his needs, but a sovereign expression of source. That is the feminine energy his soul contracted to harmonize with. Not a dependent flicker, but a self-sustaining star. Seeing you shine independently isn't a threat to his masculinity, it's the validation of it. It whispers to his deepest core, "This is the one. This is the power I am designed to stand beside, to champion, to protect." It activates the ancient sacred circuitry within him that knows strength isn't about domination, but about stewardship. It releases him from the exhausting, impossible burden of being your sole source of stability, light, and purpose. He gets to exhale. He gets to step beside the light, not frantically try to be it while juggling 1,000 other expectations. Think of it like a master swordsmith. His pride, his purpose, isn't in wielding the sword himself on the battlefield, though he might be capable. His deep satisfaction comes from forging a blade of such exceptional quality, such perfect balance and keen edge, that it becomes legendary in the hands of the warrior who wields it. Your brilliance, your purpose lived fully, that's the blade. Him witnessing it, ensuring its integrity, protecting the space for its use. That's his sacred craft. He craves to see that blade sing through the air, knowing he had a hand in its existence, not by diminishing the metal, but by drawing out its inherent, flawless strength. So where does that leave you? It asks for immense courage. Courage to stop apologizing for your brightness. Courage to pursue that wild creative dream that sets your soul on fire, even if he doesn't immediately get it. Courage to speak your deepest, most inconvenient truths. Courage to set boundaries that prioritize your light. Courage to let your laughter ring out. Your intuition guide you fiercely. Your passions consume you, not as a performance for him, but as an offering to life itself. Stop shrinking to fit the dimly lit room he might be comfortable in. Blaze. Burn so brightly the shadows he didn't even know he was carrying are illuminated. That's not aggression, it's invitation. An invitation for his true divine strength, the strength of the keeper, the steward, the protector of radiance, to finally step forward. It's messy, this process. He might wobble, he might retreat into old patterns, he might need time to recalibrate as the glares of your authenticity burns away the dross of his conditioning. That's okay. Your job isn't to manage his reaction. Your job is to tend your own flame, fiercely and unapologetically. Trust that the part of him truly destined for union with you, not a fantasy, not a project, but you in your full glory, is watching. And that part is silently, fervently begging, shine, shine so I can finally remember who I am meant to be beside you. And you know the wildest part? This craving, this deep-seated need to witness and champion your untamed light is intricately woven into the very fabric of what prepares him for the next profound mystery, the terrifying necessary dissolution of his own old self. But that's a story for when you're ready to see what happens after he learns to stand safely in the warmth of your sun. Let's get uncomfortably real for a moment. We talk a lot about the divine masculine needing to step up, to heal, to become that unwavering pillar of strength. We hand him the spiritual toolbox, meditate, shadow work, affirmations, and expect him to dutifully rebuild himself into the perfect partner. It's well-intentioned, sure. But what if we've fundamentally misunderstood the nature of the demolition required? What if, beneath the pressure to construct, lies a deeper, almost unspeakable craving his soul is whispering into the void? Not to build, beautiful soul, to dissolve, Think of the strongest oak tree in the forest. Centuries old, roots deep, branches defiant against the sky. We admire its solidity, its resistance to the storm. Now imagine that same oak, sensing a shift deep within the earth, a call not just to weather the storm, but to become something entirely new. The terrifying truth? To become the ship, it must first let the rigid trunk shatter. The identity it held so fiercely, the unmovable object, must surrender to the saw, the plane, the terrifying process of being broken down into planks. That's the magnitude of what we're talking about here. Sacred dissolution. And his soul? It secretly craves permission for this terrifying, necessary deconstruction. You see, the masculine psyche, especially the divine masculine awakening, is often drowning in a sea of shoulds. He should be strong. He should have answers. He should provide, protect, perform. He should hold it together, especially for her. This conditioning isn't just social. It's etched into his nervous system, a primal wiring for vigilance and control. The idea of letting go, of allowing the carefully constructed persona, the successful businessman, the reliable rock, the spiritually evolved seeker, even the wounded healer clinging to his story, to simply crumble? It feels like annihilation, like failure incarnate. Worse, like betrayal of you, of the world, of the very definition of manhood he's internalized. But here's the profound, rarely spoken paradox. Before the divine masculine can authentically be the strength union requires, the false strength he's been armoring himself with must disintegrate. That armor, forged from childhood expectation, societal pressures, past wounds, the desperate need to appear competent is precisely what separates him from his true essence. It's the rigid exoskeleton preventing the tender, vulnerable, authentically powerful being beneath from emerging. His secret craving isn't for you to fix him or cheerlead his rebuilding efforts, or even in those moments to understand him. It's for a space held in the ether by your unconditional presence, or simply by the universe itself, where this dissolution isn't just tolerated, but sanctified, where falling apart isn't weakness, but the deepest, most courageous form of spiritual obedience. Imagine him standing at the edge of a crumbling cliff face he thought was solid ground. The ego screams, "Grab on! Build a ladder. Fake it till you make it." The soul whispers, softer but insistent, "Let go. The fall is the path. Trust the unseen net." What he craves, more than any spiritual technique, is the energetic permission to loosen his white-knuckled grip, to feel the terrifying freefall without the added burden of your panic, your disappointment, or your well-meaning but misplaced attempts to hand him tools while he's still falling. He needs to know in his bones that the raw, messy, uncertain state of being undone, the tears that feel alien, the confusion that humiliates, the lostness that terrifies, is not just okay, but holy ground. It's the alchemical crucible where the dross of the false self burns away, leaving only the essential gold of who he truly is. This is where your role, often misunderstood, becomes crucial. It's not about being his therapist or cheerleader through the dissolution. It's certainly not about clinging to him, demanding reassurance while he's drowning in his own deconstruction. It's about embodying the space. It's about holding within your own sovereign energy a frequency of unconditional acceptance, so steady, so unshakable, that it whispers to his terrified soul, "It's safe to fall apart here. I won't add to the chaos. I won't mistake your dissolution for abandonment. I trust the process, even when you can't. Your calm isn't indifference. It's the sacred container. Your unwavering light, yes, the one we talked about blazing, becomes the distant star he glimpses through the swirling chaos, reminding him that order will emerge, but only after the necessary chaos does its work. Is it messy? Oh, honey, it's a Category 5 spiritual hurricane. He might withdraw into profound silence, a cave-like hibernation of the soul. He might cycle through anger, grief, apathy, emotions that feel frighteningly out of character. He might make bewildering choices, push you away not out of malice, but out of the desperate need for space to implode without witnesses. He might seem utterly lost, disconnected, a shadow of the man you knew. This isn't him abandoning the path. This is the path. The ego's last, frantic stand before surrendering to the soul's deeper knowing. So, what's asked of you? Radical trust. Trust in his process, even when it looks nothing like progress. Trust in the universe's timing, which operates on a geological scale compared to our human impatience. Trust in your own light, enough not to be extinguished by his temporary darkness. Release the need to manage his metamorphosis. Stop handing him band-aids when his entire skeleton needs to reshape. Your greatest gift isn't fixing his dissolution, it's honoring it as sacred. It's whispering through your energy, not necessarily words. Fall apart. I'll hold the space. The world won't end. You won't end. Something far more magnificent is being born in the ruins. Because here's the luminous truth hidden within the terrifying craving for dissolution. It's the prelude to authentic rebirth. That oak doesn't mourn becoming the ship. It discovers its destiny is to sail. The caterpillar doesn't cling to its crawling life. It becomes the creature of air and light. His dissolution isn't the end of the strong, capable masculine. It's the death of the inauthentic version, making way for the integrated, truly powerful divine masculine who can stand beside your radiance, not as a competitor, but as a harmonizing force. Solid because he's been fluid, strong because he knows his core survives the shattering present, because he's no longer hiding behind a mask that was slowly killing his spirit. And the most breathtaking part, when he finally emerges from that sacred rubble, blinking in the light of his own authenticity, the union that awaits isn't just a reunion, it's a revelation, a meeting of two souls who dared the deepest depths of their own becoming. But understanding how that reunion unfolds after such radical dissolution, well, that requires seeing the journey not as an end, but as a breathtaking new beginning. So here we stand, you and I, at the edge of what language can hold, where the maps fade and the territory of true union begins. If there's one thing to carry forward from all this, let it be this. The path to your twin flame isn't about finding, but about becoming. And not just any becoming, the kind that demands you shed the skins you once thought were sacred, the identities you clung to like life rafts in a storm you've outgrown. Think of it like this. You've spent years, lifetimes maybe, weaving a tapestry of who you should be, the perfect partner, the healed soul, the one who's got it all figured out. But the divine masculine, his soul isn't searching for that curated masterpiece. He's waiting, in some deep, wordless way, for the moment you drop the needle and let the threads tangle. For the raw, unfiltered you that exists when the performance ends and the truth begins. Not because he needs you broken, but because he recognizes in some primal way that real union can only happen when both of you stop pretending to be finished artworks and admit you're still being painted. And here's the secret. The moment you stop trying to fix the journey is the moment it starts to carry you. All that striving to heal, to surrender, to align, what if it's just another layer of control dressed in spiritual garb? What if the real work isn't in the doing, but in the allowing? Allowing him to dissolve, allowing yourself to shine without apology, allowing the path to unfold in ways that defy every expectation you've ever scribbled in the margins of your heart. So where does that leave you? In the most exhilarating, terrifying, and liberating place of all, the unknown, the place where scripts burn and miracles are born, where the love you've been waiting for isn't something you find, but something you recognize in yourself, in him, in the spaces between where the old versions of you both used to stand. And when the dust of transformation settles, when he emerges from the chrysalis of his own becoming and you from yours, that's when the real magic begins. Not because you've reached some mythical finish line, but because you've learned the secret. Union was never the destination. It's the dance. A dance of two souls who loved each other enough to fall apart, to shine too bright, to surrender every illusion of control, all for the chance to meet, at last, in the unscripted, messy, breathtaking truth of who they really are. So keep your light blazing, beautiful soul, and let him crumble if he must. The reunion you're dreaming of? It's not ahead of you. It's within you, waiting for the moment you stop chasing it and start embodying it. And the most delicious irony? The deeper you trust this process, the less you'll need to. But that's a revelation for another day. Or perhaps for the quiet knowing already stirring in your chest.